Hello, artists, and happy International Women's Day. Today is March 8th, 2020, and it is International Women's Day. And I am just giving a personal shout out to all the women involved in the art world. They're so critical, and they all play a critical role in the art world. Also, a big shout out to all the women involved in the biggest art week in New York City, which is happening right now, the Armory Art Week. We have six major art fairs here in New York City. Yesterday, I was lucky enough to give a tour to a private organization of one of the art fairs, Spring Break Art Show. And not only is one of the founders of the fair a woman, but every single booth that we stopped at had a woman that was like critically involved in the booth, whether they were a curator, an artist, a gallerist who was involved in the booth, or all the above. So, congratulations to all of you, and it's just awesome. I wanted to also give a small piece of advice to women artists who are working today. One of the biggest ways that you can communicate with everyone is on your website. And when you talk about other artists, I want you to consider this as well. When I was in graduate school, a professor of mine pointed this out to us, and we were all flabbergasted. She explained to us that there was a very common thing that we did when we refer to women who were artists and also other famous women. We would always use their first name. And then when we went on to continue writing about them and talking about them, we would repeat their first name and not their last name. Let me give you a few examples. One in the art world, we always say Pollock, right? But we say Lee Krasner. And one non-art world situation like this is Einstein or Marie Curie, right? Why don't we just say Curie? Why don't we just say Krasner? So I want you to be aware of that when you're speaking, but also when you are writing about yourself in any way in the third person, which I always recommend that you do on your website just a little bit so we know a little bit about you, try not to use your first name more than once. You should really only use your first name when you introduce yourself, and then every subsequent time you use your name, it's much better to use your second name, your surname, or your last name. And the reason for that is that it is going to erase this notion that women need to be identified differently than men, and especially in the case of the use of the last name, right? Because in the patriarchy, the last name pertains to the man's lineage, right? So, I mean, I can go on and on and on about this, but I'm sure you're all aware of many reasons. You're kind of all having aha moments right now. And I want to just remind you, do not refer to yourself using your first name when you're writing about yourself in the third person more than once. You should only mention your first name once and then continue on and stay in that power position of using your surname and asserting yourself in this patriarchy that hopefully will dissipate soon. But I am just, again, shout out to all the amazing women artists and all the women working today. You guys, you women are amazing. Mwah.